Okay, Baba, now we have social studies. Uh, so today, homework, you have to retell the story for Columcille of Ireland. So this story, we will learn about this person, Columcille. When I say Columcille of Ireland, Ireland هي مدينة دولة مثل العراق، كندا، إمارات. Columcille of Ireland يعني واحد اسمه Columcille من مدينة أو من دولة Ireland. So let's read together. The day was clear. When I say the day was clear يعني ما بي غيم، هيك الشمس طالعة ماكو غيم، حلو الجو يعني. And the sun was shining. The morning Columcille was born. So Columcille was born in a clear day where the sun was shining. His mother rejoiced. شنو يعني rejoiced؟ يعني كلش فرحت، يعني طالت من الفرح لين انولد Columcille ابنها. For while Columcille's birth had brought with it the light of day, times were hard and darkness fell over the land. Columcille was born the son of a king, in a corner of Ireland that had been worn and battered by the rough ocean winds. So Columcille was the son of the king of Ireland. At that time يعني بذاك الوقت Ireland اللي هي الدولة was battered by the rough ocean winds. شنو يعني battered؟ يعني متأثرة هواية بالهواء القوي اللي جاي من الأوشن البحر الكبير، فالهواء كان هواية يضربها ويسوي مثل تورنيدوز إعصار، والناس يعني متأذية منه. People of those times had forgotten the beauty of days past and lived only to do battle. They fought for the simplest of things, a crust of bread, a slab of earth. So when Columcille was born, there was lots of wars and battle، يعني مثل حرب هواية، وما كان اكو أكل، ويعني كان الوقت صعب. This was a time when people forgot to read and write. So because it was a very hard time, they didn't study, they didn't read or write. Words no longer had any value, and ignorance cast a shadow over people's mind. شنو يعني ignorance؟ Ignorance يعني when you don't know something، يعني أنت جاهل ما تعرف شيء. So because there was lots of wars and people didn't write or read or study, they became ignorant، يعني صاروا ما يفتهمون. Few people knew or cared about learning, and much of the joy that came from the stories of their fathers was lost. Books were destroyed, and those who knew their secrets were rare. So only few people were educated. Only few people at that time knew how to write and read. Columcille was one of them. It was said that when Columcille was a young lad, he was fed a cake filled with the letters of the alphabet. In this way, words became part of his very soul. It was true that as Columcille grew in this time of darkness, his love of learning burned within him, as bright as all the stars in the heavens combined. So لما كان صغير كولومسين كان كلش يحب القراية، وهواية كان يقرأ كتب، he loved it so much. He loved education, he loved studying and reading. When the time came for Columcille to choose his path, he turned away from the riches of Christendom and instead became a monk. Here he was free to devote tireless hours to copying books of old. He hid his labors to save the world from losing their stories forever. So لما صار كبير Columcille he chose to be a monk. Monk يعني مثل راهب، يعني هيك يشتغل مثل بمعبد وبس يكتب الكتب القديمة. One night As he sat in the cold, damp tower of his monastery, writing by the soft light of a single candle, he came upon an ancient book of psalm. So one night كان بالليل قاعد بالمونستري مثل يعني المعبد ماله مونستري كان يكتب كتاب وشاف ancient يعني قديم شاف كتاب قديم اسمه Psalms. He began copying it يعني ينسخه يعني يكتبه على صفحات جديدة. Though he was ordered not to, the man who owned the book wanted its contents for himself. When the copy was finished, it was so glorious that a great battle was waged over who had the rights to own it. فهذا البزالمز الكتاب كولومسيل نسخه بطريقة كلش حلوة. فلما خلصه كان مثل اكو حرب بين الناس عمود يعرفون منو لازم ياخذ الكتاب. Columcille was deeply saddened. His works were meant to bring peace, beauty, and healing to a dark and frightened world. He had never intended his writings to be part of the wars that tore apart his lands. لما الناس قامت تتحارب وتتقاتل بينات بعض على مود الكتاب كولومسيل زعل لأن هو كان يريد شغله يجيب peace and beauty not war فزعل انقهر لما الناس قامت تقتل بعض على مود الكتاب اللي هو كتبه. Columcille was ashamed يعني استحى ashamed يعني he استحى. He had his closest friends built a small boat and covered it with leather. In this vessel they set sail over stormy and blackened waters. The waves tossed and threatened them, but they held fast to their hope of bringing the light of language to the world. فلما صارت الحرب كولومسيل استحى من اللي صار فبنى وقارب وهرب هو وأصدقائه بس كان أكو هواية waves وإعصار بالمي. At last Columcille landed on a small island. They built a small community there and together began their life's work of writing. Every day was devoted to keeping learning alive. Columcille and his followers copied thousands of books and sent them over the seas to lands where people waited anxiously for them. In this way, the stories of our fathers were preserved, saved by a man who cared more for word than wealth. So when they reached to another island, they start writing thousands of books and gave them to other people so they can learn and study. And that was the story of Columcille. So here, Baba, you have to retell the story in your own words, like every time. I will summarize it for you. So you start by saying Columcille was born in a shining morning. His mother was very happy that he was born. At the time, Ireland had many wars. So Columcille came in a time where the country had many wars. And because of the wars, people forgot how to study, to write and read. When Columcille was older, he chose to be a monk so he can write books and stories for the people to learn. And one day, he wrote a book called Psalms. But people fought over who has to have the book. Columcille was very sad because people fought each other up for his book, so he escaped with his friends on a boat. When he reached an island, him and his friends they started writing thousands of books so people can learn and write and read and learn about the stories of their fathers. The end.